Saturday.
Happy Saturday. Welcome back.
I know we missed last week because I had the plague.
You did. And you had no voice.
Awful. Had no voice. Yeah, COVID struck for the second time. This is the only second time I've had it, but man, it hit me fast.
And the universe said, Mandi, you will stay in bed and you will rest.
It did say that. Yeah, it 100% said that. Yeah, like I was doing my things on Tuesday, got a little headache, and an hour later, I could hardly move my body. Like it was an hour from a little bit of headache to you're just in bed. So yeah.
Yuck.
So yeah, I'm sorry that we missed last week, but didn't have a voice. Also didn't have a whole lot of energy, to be completely honest.
Understandable. So. Good morning, Monica. Yeah, and I think we were talking, we had our first week of school since winter break. So that was an interesting combination of exhaustion and a hot mess. Like it was hardcore for me and the students, like a whole week of school. It's unheard of.
I know. And we didn't have a full week because we ended up with ice on Tuesday. That kept us home again. So we thought we were going to finally have a full week because we haven't either with all of the snow and the ice and everything that has happened. So yeah, it's been a crazy, crazy time since winter break. Crazy.
It is crazy. January is always crazy for teachers and stuff too. So
it is. It is. So I am super excited about today though.
I was just telling Annabeth before, like as the intro was playing, I'm like, Annabeth, I'm excited. I'm like, Joe's here with us. I'm so excited and a little bit nervous, but I also know it's going to be so much fun. I adore Joe. He doesn't know this, but I do adore him. And I think this is my third time sketchnoting him. I think I've sketchnoted him live twice already. I just enjoy this guy so much. I can't wait for you to meet him and get to know him and everybody else.
Yes, absolutely. So we've already said who it is, Joe, but our guest today shares his knowledge and passion for building up and supporting educators and schools when he's not battling beavers at his cabin. He has served education as a teacher, counselor, principal, and superintendent. His 1 minute walk to work videos have encouraged and inspired many. He has authored or co-authored many books helping educators be better leaders and create a positive culture in their buildings and districts. He has presented many places, but one I'm envious of was presenting at Skywalker Ranch. He has received honors and awards and has helped, encouraged, and supported educators and leaders all over the country, even at the White House. I'm so excited to doodle and chat all about Joe Sanfelippo today.
Here we go.
Oh my gosh. All right. So I'm already crying because when you say battling beavers at the cabin, now I'm in a bad mood. Like I'm all about wildlife. I'm all about sanctuaries, but stop taking my trees down. I mean, let's just be honest. Like that's a problem that we're going to have to discuss. And I am honored, humbled to be here. Carrie, your sketch notes are like really dear to my heart. They really are. I loved watching you do it. I love seeing them after. They meant more to me than you'll ever know, because when you can see the reaction from people, it's just something that's hard to put into words. So I truly thank you for that. And I'm honored to be with you today. And hopefully we can answer the questions the best possible way. We'll figure it out from there. And so is there swearing? So I'm kidding. I'm joking.
I mean, I feel like a truck driver off camera, but we've never on camera. It is what it is. Seriously, we don't mark made for children on our YouTube channel. So you can be a first, Joe, you know?
Right. I'll tell you.
Sketchnote, swear, you know, let's just do it all.
Whatever it is. I'm gonna make sure that we don't do it. But man, as soon as you said it, I'm like, those things, I'm telling you right now, I got real problems with them. I'm just gonna be really honest about it. So they don't pay any rent there. They've never cut me a check. I don't know what they're doing with all the wood they're taking down at that cabin, but I'm gonna tell you right now, they aren't selling it. Because I haven't gotten a check for any of that stuff at all. I don't understand what the problem is. Ridiculous.
Now there's going to have to be beavers on our paper for sure.
That's just what I was saying. We've got to have a beaver.
Yeah, it comes full circle. They take the wood down, you make it into paper, then you draw on it. Yeah, it doesn't make me feel any better. I'm just going to tell you right now. It's what it is. Ridiculous.
Oh, Joe. So for Joe, he kind of knows what he's getting into. It was so much fun talking to you off camera and then getting this little glimpse of like, Joe said yes to some really nice educators, but he wasn't fully sure what he was getting into. But he's a trooper. It'll be fine. He's done keynotes. He speaks in front of thousands of people. What's a pen and paper questions from the bull that knows, you know?
Way harder. Way harder, just like way harder. When I get in front of a group of people, I know what I'm going to say, and I know what the reaction is going to be. I'm here going, I could be really bad at this. Let's just figure it out along the way. And I'm not.
You
and
won't
I'm
be.
just like I'll be drawing a stick figure. I haven't decided what I'm going to do with my stick figure yet, but I'm going to draw it. I'm going to like put it in a place. It'll be good.
Fantastic. We can't wait. We cannot wait. So for Joe and our friends that are here with us, Maria's also here. Hi, Maria. We have the bowl that knows that is filled with questions just special for Joe. And there's also a few just random sprinklings of questions that even Mandi and I don't know about. So we're going to turn the bowl that knows over to Annabeth. She's going to pull a question from here. And then Mandi, or she's also going to turn our cameras on so we can draw.
Yes, I am.
And then Joe's going to answer the questions, and Mandi and I are going to draw.
Oh, that's super fun.
Thank you.
I finally
learned
that's
really
cool. This time.
You
finally figured it out.
Yeah, all right.
They're in the right
I'm ready
spots this
for
time.
He's ready.
Go me.
Go you.
Go
Small
you.
victory.
Yeah. Okay. We have been told you have never met a pizza you do not like. Why is pizza such a reliable food?
Pizza's the best thing. Like if you want to make people happy, just deliver pizza. Like there's no bad pizza. Like even bad pizza is good pizza. So here's the thing. Okay. Here's the thing about pizza you need to understand. I will sidebar for a pizza in any town. Like that's the first place I look to go and eat if I'm in a different town. But I have driven an hour and a half out of my way to get a pizza from multiple places. One is Joe's Foxhead Pizza in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin, where I grew up. And if I can go back and get it, I will. The other one is Wig and Pen, the tomato pizza, or the flying tomato pizza at Wig and Pen in Iowa City. And I will go out of my way to get those pizzas because I love them. Now, here's the problem with the pizza. And that is that I have been known. I can't. Okay, so I'm going to say it out loud, but I'm not going to apologize for it. But it's not right. I'm just going to tell you it's not a good thing to do. So don't do this. But I have eaten a full pizza in less than 6 minutes on multiple occasions. And so what happens is I've got to the place where I've actually timed myself a couple times because I'm in the car eating it, right? And I'm like, okay, so I'm just going to eat it. And when you buy the pizza on Main Street in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin, which is not a very big place, and you have that pizza gone by the time you get to the highway to get back on your way, it's not a great thing for your body. But at the same time, your mind felt fantastic. I feel pretty good about that. So that's kind of where I was at. I think pizza's fantastic, and I love it. And if I can get a pizza, I'm going to go get a pizza. Now, Monica says Giordano's. I like Giordano's, and I love Lou Malnati's. And that's just what it is. Like either way, you can't lose. But I'm going to go with Lou's every time. And honestly, I'll pick up a pizza, and then I'll bring one home too. It's just it's a thing. It's definitely a thing. Go pizza.
Do you have a favorite pizza topping?
Pepperoni, 100%, without question. It's the only thing I get. It's pepperoni.
That's funny.
I also think, Joe, you are the fastest talker
I'm
on
not.
Doodle and Chat. I love it.
Oh yeah, okay, maybe I is, but my mom is way faster than I am. We get in a room and people are like, "What did you say?" I say, "Don't worry about it, just cut a check." So that's the kind of the way that it works. We just kind of go back and forth, and that's the way. I'll see her. We're gonna see her in an hour, or after we're done, we'll see her at the basketball game we're going to today, and we just talk so fast with each other. I think my son Kale, who's with me today, is gonna look at us going, I don't have any idea what just happened, but are you paying for the tickets? Is that where we're at? Because that's all I need to know. Right, here we go. Find a seat, watch some basketball, and just always it just goes, man. It just goes.
I think we're ready, Annabeth.
Did I get it right? Did I get
You
that
did
one right?
amazing. You did great.
Oh,
It
good.
does.
That was the last question. That's awesome. That was really fun. I really enjoyed that. So if I draw the questions out, like if I answer them for 40 minutes at a shot, I'll get like 3. That's the plan at this point, is to just, unless I don't like the question, then I'll be like, the answer is C, or D, none of the above. And then next question.
Okay. How have White House summits as a future-ready superintendent and personalized learning leader prepared you for keeping the beavers away from your shoreline at your family cabin?
Well, they haven't, because you would think that going to the White House with all the security there, that I would have figured out how to keep those things off of our land, but I haven't. Like, they still show up all the time, and it's like they're laughing at me. You know, it's the worst. Like, they're sitting out there and like got this beaver den, you know, right outside of our cabin. It's beautiful. It's a tiny cabin, but the area is so beautiful, and it looks over this lake, and then there's this beaver den, and we live on the lake is this wildlife preserve, so you can't trap them, you can't shoot them, you can just like try to talk to them really nicely and say, would you please just stop, can you go somewhere else, please? So this happens to us all the time. And so I don't know if the security at the White House, if I could use security at the White House to like sit at the cabin and distract the beavers, I think I'd probably be in a much better situation. But this is the scenario that we're at, you know, and that's just kind of the way that it works. Going to the White House was super fun. I was actually just on a podcast with my friend Jimmy, and we were both there at the time. And it was so funny because we were sitting in the front row, and our friend Tom Murray was sitting like 2 rows behind us, which is ironic because he's the one that kind of connected us to being there. So he's in the back row, we're in the front row, and President Obama is coming down the aisle, and we had one very specific rule: do not touch the president. Do not touch the president. Like, that's what we were told. Absolutely no problem. So he comes walking down, and Jimmy and I, he's like maybe 6 feet away from us, and Jimmy and I are sitting there, and we kind of looked at each other because he came closer to us, and we're like, oh my gosh, he's coming to us. And the next thing you know, I put my hand out, and he grabs my hand and like pulls me in, gives me one of those like bro hug things. That he does the same thing to Jimmy, pulls him in, and then he goes and does the most incredible speech I've ever heard in my life. And I'm sitting there like my eyes are wide going, we weren't supposed to touch the president at all, but this guy just leaned in. That's not my fault. So security, you coming after me, you can't, that's not my fault. Well, then he comes back after he's done, does the same thing, comes right over to us, hand out, brings us in, says, thanks for all you do for kids. And then he left. And I sat there going, this is the greatest day ever. And I wasn't even supposed to happen because I wasn't supposed to reach out and touch the president, but there it is. That's what happened. And Jimmy and I got back to the hotel that night, and we literally sat in a room going, did that just happen? It was before all the social media stuff in terms of like, you know, live streaming and everything like that. So that wasn't part of it. We just literally sat there going, President Obama just essentially like came over and said that we were the most important people in the world. That's how we felt. That's how we felt right there. I think that's probably what he said under his breath, but I didn't hear it for sure. But I think that's probably what he said. He could, you know what? The way that he spoke to that group that day, honestly, he could probably go talk to the beavers at the cabin and tell them, and they'd be like, oh yeah, that makes perfect sense. You know what? We'll never come back again. Yeah, we're really sorry. I'm sure that's what would happen.
I'm trying to figure out how to draw the White House. I don't even know how to do that.
That's awesome, though.
That is awesome.
Yeah, it was a good day. It was a really good day. Wonderful people. It was a great opportunity, and I will tell you one thing. I'll tell you about him in particular is we were sitting in this room, and as a guy who speaks to groups on a very regular basis, the one thing that I took away is I've never seen a person engage a group more than that. He had the whole group. He had 2 teleprompters on either side of where I was sitting, and I could see the teleprompter and I could see the words coming through. I never saw him look in that direction one time, but the words that were coming out was like he was saying them and then they were going on the teleprompter. I've never seen anything like it. It was unbelievable the way that he was able to do that and engage you. I mean, he looked at me and I was like, I'm the only person in this room right now. I'm clearly, and I actually think about that a lot when I go and speak to groups, because if we can make people feel like they're the only person in the room and they're so locked into what you have to say, so they feel like they're part of it, that you're talking to them and it's going to help them when they leave. Like, what else can we really do?
I can't agree more. The more special we can make people feel, whether it's students or adults that we interact with or work
Absolutely.
with, it's just that it makes it that much more personal, and it just brings an emotional connection that you can't take away.
Right. Well, I had a professor in college. Her name's Nancy Blair, and she said one of it was in my PhD program. So I don't know if it was worth the $70,000, but it was pretty close. So and she said to us as a group, she said, the greatest gift of service that you can give to another human being is for the time that you're with them, they are the center of your universe. And I try to live that as much as I possibly can, because if people feel like that they are the center of your universe, not only do they treat that interaction differently, but they talk about that interaction differently when they get out of that interaction.
Agreed. I agree. I love that. So see, that's what the Beavers are striving for, Joe. That's,
No, they're not. Carrie, no, they're not. Nope. They're all about destruction. That's all they are. Just taking down my trees. That's all there is to it. You don't spin this. I'm not buying that. Nope. That's not
I was gonna write a question about, like, if the Beavers could take your advice on changing the narrative, what would they say to you, Joe? But I didn't.
That's a great question. I don't even know if I would have the answer to that one. Like, because if I was talking to them, I'm already like, the wall is already up, and they probably chew through the wall too. Like, that's how this thing works. Stinking beavers.
I think Joe's been tormented enough by the Beavers today.
You think?
Sure, there's no more questions, Mom.
There's no more Beaver questions.
Okay.
I got to draw 2 beavers, and that was fun.
I appreciate it.
Okay. If someone asked you about where you grew up, what would you teach them, show them, and feed them?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I already mentioned it. So
you did?
Yeah, absolutely. I grew up in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin, and I think that Fond du Lac, Wisconsin is famous for a couple things. The first is the Miracle Mile, where one of the first lottery winners was on that main drag in Fond du Lac, and then 2 more winners happened on that street, like major winners, like millions of dollars winners. And so people would come from all over the country to buy tickets at the place is called Ma and Pa's, because it had 2 multi-million-dollar winners from that gas station. So people would come there just to buy tickets. So I would absolutely bring them there to buy a lottery ticket to make sure they had the best chance of winning possible. I would feed them Joe's Fox Hut pizza, and then depending on the day, depending on what we were looking for, we would either go to Gillies for ice cream, because it's like an outdoor drive-in kind of place, which is great. But the best ice cream that I've ever had in my entire life was at Kelly's Creamery in Fond du Lac. And so I would probably take them there and get the s'mores, the campfire s'mores sundae, which, again, I have driven an hour out of my way to get. So I think there's a theme going on here where I treat myself pretty static when it comes to food when I'm home, but when I'm on the road, it is not a good situation at all. I was just telling Jimmy today, like, I'm going to go home and I'm going to fast for a couple of days. And he's like, what? I'm like, well, I kind of have to. It's been a time. It's been a thing. Like, it's like, it's been a thing. So yeah, I would take him there, and I would go, we would go get some pizza.
Nice. Ice cream and pizza.
Ice cream and pizza. Can't go wrong.
You really can't. Ice cream's got a life of its own. That's okay.
That's all right.
Okay, so I have to ask you a random question, and this is just it's showing a little bit of how much research we do. But did you play basketball in high school at St. Mary's?
I did, yeah.
Did you guys win the state championship?
We did. We did. We won a state championship. It was 1993. We were still taking the ball out of the peach basket when we were done. I mean, it was a long time ago.
I'm as old as you are, Joe, so be careful.
Me too. Be careful.
So what position did you play?
I played guard, and
You
so
did, okay.
we had a real good team, and it was a fun. We went to the school that I went to was a real good football school. We actually went to the state finals all 4 years that I was in high school, and we hadn't done a lot when it comes down to basketball since like 82 or something like that. It'd been a long time, and so it was cool to get back and cool to see the reaction from the school community and stuff like that. And we had just it kind of goes back to leadership. We had an incredible coach. I had an incredible football coach who actually is still at the high school that I went to. Yeah, so he's the winningest coach in the state of Wisconsin, and he's a wonderful, wonderful person. And then my high school basketball coach, his name is Tom Nisus, and he's retired to the southern part of the state. But just a great leader that allowed us to lead and give us an opportunity. And it was really cool because Tom was the reason that he was the kind of the push to get me into working with kids. And I was actually, it was before our senior year, actually. I was doing a basketball camp for him, and we had all these little kids doing drills. And I'm doing drills with them, getting them really excited about stuff. And we got done with the drill, and they got moved out. He actually stopped and put everybody into another drill. And he came over to me, and he just said, "This is what you need to do." He said, you need to be working with kids, because not only do the kids react so well to you, but the smile on your face was as big as I've ever seen. So you need to be in a spot where you can be happy, but you can also make other people happy. And I think that's kind of where the whole thing started. So I think it really shows leadership and what it looks like. And to be really honest, if either of those two guys called me right now and just said, "Hey, we need you in Fond du Lac," wherever I am, I'm going to drive there, and I'll figure out why I'm there when I get there. Right? Like, if they need it, we're on our way. That's just what it is. And I hope people, as we've worked with people over time, I hope people feel the same way about the leadership that we've tried to provide. Like, if there's an opportunity to come and talk, we make it and try to make an effort to do that. And I think that's a big piece of what leadership is.
Love it. Love it. What a special moment.
Yeah, it was cool.
That is neat. I love those kind of stories. I mean, I have a similar experience with teaching, knowing from a young age that's what I need to do. It's nice to have that feeling, I think, kind of.
Sometimes you just need to be, and it's like, I think he said it in a way that wasn't judgmental. It wasn't like, well, you better do this or you're going to be a loser. Like, you know what I mean? It was like, hey, I saw the look on your face when you did this. And so I think that's something that you really need to consider. I think the balance for me as a leader in the space is knowing everyone well enough to know kind of what they want moving forward and not what they think I want for them moving forward, which is really hard. Because if I go up to somebody, I did it. I went up to a teacher. And he's if he's not the best teacher in the building, he's definitely in the conversation. And I said to him, "Hey, you should really look at being a principal. I think you'd be a great leader for these spaces," and blah, blah, blah. And I went through the whole thing. And I told him all the reasons that I thought that he would be a great leader for a building. And the next day I walked past his room, and he asked me to come in, and I come in, and he said, he's an incredible person. And he said to me, "You really made me mad yesterday." And I said, what do you mean? I'll tell you all the ways you should, you could be a great leader, blah, blah, blah. He said, all I've ever wanted to do was be the best teacher that I could. And yesterday you made me feel like I was supposed to be something else. And I didn't even think about it, right? Because I didn't know him well enough to know what he wanted. I should have started with the question, what are you looking for? What do you want to do? And then kind of built it off of there. But I made a judgment based on what I felt like he should do. And it's not my journey, it's his, right? I'm just part of the story.
Yeah, that's a lot to think about for sure.
Mm-hmm. For sure, yeah.
Yeah. We do that with students too,
Absolutely. Ask the question first, because you just never know.
Yeah. Whew. And my mind is like, I'm off in a distant now, just like going through what you just said, just taking it all in.
Thank you. We're trying.
No, I love it. All right, Annabeth, I think we're ready. Yes.
This is quite random. What does your perfect burger or sandwich have in it?
Well, no, there's a
lot of food
theme to
questions.
this chat here.
A lot of food questions.
Yes.
My favorite burger, the best burger is a cheeseburger, and it's not even like from a place. It's a smash burger with melted cheese and honestly ketchup. I'm pretty simple. Like, just give me that and it's a go for me. Like, I'll feel good about that and roll out. But I think it's got to be like a smash burger kind of thing. I'm not a big like thick burger kind of guy. Give me a smash burger. Even if it's multiple patties on a smash burger, it feels like a little different than having one big burger. So I don't know.
All right. That was simple.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah, how about that? That was good. Give me more of those. I'm good. Like, it take me back to my childhood, for goodness sakes. Like, obviously, ask me about a burger. Like, I got that answer easy.
What are 4 of your favorite things about being a father?
Oh, why you gotta do that? Seriously. Give me another burger question. Ask me about chicken nuggets or something. My gosh. Okay.
Well,
all right.
You don't have to watch for long. Of the things that you share to see the love that you have for your family and the importance that being a dad is. So we wouldn't, the bowl wouldn't be doing its job if we didn't ask that question, Joe.
Yeah, I'll tell you. I don't know. What was the question again? Give me the four what?
Favorite things about being a father?
4 favorite things. All right. So my 4 favorite things about being a father. Let's see. Well, like a weekend like this with my son, with Kale. Kale and I are going to watch 3 basketball games in 2 days, and we get just a chance to hang out and kind of be, And so I think the first thing is being able to connect with similar interests that allow us to see people grow and make good connections. I think the second favorite thing about being a dad is seeing them grow in ways that you didn't think that they would. Like you hoped, but then you didn't know, right? And then when you see it, it's really impactful. I think that's a big deal. The third thing is just watching them smile. Like when I have a video that I watch on my phone more than I care to admit, and we're just playing cards. And the 3, Aiden, who is now like out of college, Kale, who's in college, and Elena is a junior in high school, and they were real young. I think Allie was probably 6 at the time, so it was like 6, 8, and 10, something like that. So they were actually maybe a little bit older, but we're all playing cards. And Aiden puts a card down, and we were standing up, and he actually fell. And as he's falling, he's laughing. And then Kale starts laughing, and then Elena laughs, and it's just this uncontrollable belly laugh from all of them. And that to me is about as good as it gets, when you can see them enjoy their lives in a situation that they're as happy as they can be. And the last one is I get to see their mother through all of their interactions, and the work that she's done with them in terms of just being there for them and connecting with them and helping them to be better people. When I see them interact with others, I see her in that. And that's really special to me because of all the work that she's put into to developing them as individuals and as just as people. And she pours her heart into them. And watching her watch them is one of my favorite things to do in the world. So when I see her come out in their actions, it's really incredible. I think that that makes me happier than almost anything in the world.
I love that.
Yeah, she's incredible.
All right.
Run out of space there?
No, I've got plenty of space. Joe's got more questions. She's got to answer.
Okay.
I mean, what's more not to like? Beavers and pizza
No,
and
it's
President
great.
Obama and hearts, you know?
I can't go wrong. They're all right there. Man, those beavers. And well, I'm gonna get on the phone right after this. I just told you that my wife's incredible, but we're gonna have a conversation.
She is the one that helped us.
I'm
with
just gonna
that.
tell you. Really, I never would have guessed that, Carrie. Never would have guessed that. Yeah, she's fantastic, but she's gonna get a call.
Well, I think she's lovely.
Yeah, she's wonderful. She's incredible. She's wonderful. I outkicked my coverage by about 50 yards. I mean, it is.
Aww.
Yeah, it's impressive. She's wonderful. Like she could walk out and trip over a guy better than me. So I think if I just kind of keep her just keep doing kids stuff, she'll remember oh yeah, he's here for kids too. So it's good. That's good. We'll keep that rolling. In fact, if the kids want to come back and live with us for ever, I'm good because that's fine with me. Just because then she's not going anywhere. So it's good. You're good. I keep her there. Right? It's we'll set up a house in the back for the kids. If that keeps her here, I'm taking it.
Oh my goodness.
See, I'm all about just building some tiny homes in my backyard and living them in. Yep. I've told Carrie that before.
Right. Except Elena, she needs to go. But the other two are bring them in. They're fine.
You lie.
Yeah, I do lie. That's right. She's great.
Throughout your time in education, from teacher, counselor, coach, principal to superintendent, what are 3 timeless strategies and/or mindsets for any educator?
That is an easy one. And it's one that I wish I would have known literally 26 years ago when I started this. And that's what I'm trying to help people with right now, because I think if we live in a situation where we can do these things, we put ourselves in a much better, we get momentum moving forward. And the first one is every interaction matters, because every interaction could be the one that they talk about for the rest of their lives. So if we treat every interaction, just like we talked about with Nancy, if every interaction, they believe they are the center of your universe in that moment, then when they leave that interaction, they talk about that interaction differently. So I keep coming back to every interaction. So then the question becomes, what does that really look like? So the second thing would be to make sure that you recognize the greatness of those around you, acknowledge the greatness of those around you, and extend the greatness of those around you. And of those around you, it's important because if you put yourself in the right mindset to see it with kids, you see it with the adults, you see it with parents, you see it with whatever it is, you get a chance to see that. And if you're constantly in a situation where you recognize their greatness, acknowledge to them that they are great, and then extend it to somebody who didn't see it, now all of a sudden people walk with more purpose, right? So if I can become the connector for those great stories, then not only do I get more momentum because those stories find me, but now the people that we're working with get more momentum because those stories are out there for people to see. So every interaction matters, recognize, acknowledge, extend. And the last thing is never give up the opportunity to say something great about your school. If you live with those 3, if you live with never give up the opportunity to say something great about your school, if you are in a constant conversation about how we can build momentum, then it doesn't ensure success, but it gives you a better chance along the way. And that's what we want to do with people, is just give them the best shot possible when it comes down to what this work really looks like. So the more that I can help people, be in the moment with every interaction, recognize, acknowledge, extend, and never give up the opportunity to say something great about your school. I think if we create schools that do those three things, everybody in that place, regardless of position, is going to feel better about the work that they do.
I love it.
I hear that bowl.
Yeah.
The bowl. What's it? You say the bowl knows? Is that what it was? That's what you're saying?
We do say the bowl. It's the bowl that knows, because it always seems to have just the right questions for our guests.
You should call it the bowl that scares. That's what it should be called.
Well, we do have pins that we give out when we do this live that says "I survived the bowl."
Oh yeah, well there it is. We'll talk about when it's done. This thing ain't over yet, so we'll talk about it in a little bit.
Got another random one.
Of course you do.
What movie never gets old, no matter how many times you've seen it?
Oh, Wedding Crashers. That one's easy. Wedding Crashers. Yeah, I could do the politically correct one, say Shawshank Redemption, but it's Wedding Crashers. It is, like, that's what it is. I mean, I can watch it anytime, and feel like, just be entertained. I think that's kind of what it is.
Done.
That was easy.
That was easy.
Burgers and Wedding Crashers, man. Forget it.
Yeah. You're an easy date.
I'll take those questions all day.
It's a pretty funny movie.
It's not bad. Yeah, it's good. Appropriate, probably not, but at the same time, I'll watch it every time.
That's funny. Yeah.
Thank you.
Wednesday, October 31st, 2018. The first oh, you wrote that twice.
Sorry.
The first 1-minute walk to work was uploaded and shared. Tell us why you hit record on that.
Record.
Yeah, record.
Oh my
It's okay. This kid.
I got you.
Promise.
Oh, you're not letting me read.
Sorry.
Record on that first walk and went on to record 99 more.
Yes. That's a
guys.
great question. It's a great question. Okay, so I would love to tell you that I had this like epiphany. Like, I'm just gonna do walks to work. It's gonna be great. We're gonna inspire the world. It's gonna be fantastic. I am super loud. And when I get up in the morning and I'm super loud, like, it's probably a problem for the people who want to sleep. So I started waking up in the morning and walking to school because I was super loud, because then I could just work at school because I live across the street from school. So when I was walking over across the street, I just started thinking about leadership and what we can do to help out. And I honestly just started recording it. And, the first couple, I thought, oh, those are fun. But then people started to like them. And then I actually stopped doing them for maybe a month or two. And then, like, not everybody, but just a ton of people were online going, hey, when's the next one? When's the next one? I use those for my leadership team and that kind of thing. And one of the things that was really important, because there's 100 of them since 2018. Well, I didn't even know the first date, but 100 of them. The one thing that I wanted to make sure was that every one of them was authentic. So I didn't think, well, I got to have one every week and it's got to be this, it's got to be that. I just wanted to make sure that they were authentic. So sometimes it was like back to back weeks, and sometimes there was 3 weeks off before there was another one, because I just wanted to make sure that they were all real and that the stories were real and that people they would help. But at the same time, I don't know everything and I'm not going to pretend to. So if I can just say, here's where I screwed up and don't do this, maybe people get better for it. So I think that's kind of what the impetus was it not only started because I didn't want to wake my family up. And then it just turned into something a little bit different. But I am so thankful that people like them. And I'm going to start something new along the same lines here soon, but I don't walk to work because I don't work across the street anymore. So it just honestly just didn't seem authentic to keep doing them. So I got to kind of think of another thing to do to help out. But if the bedrock of all of them is that they are authentic and you're walking to work to do them, then you can't make that up. So we got to come up with something different. But hopefully there'll be a couple other opportunities that we talk about. I still have a bunch of stuff that I want to share. I just got to do it in a way that feels right to me, and that feels like it's not me just throwing a bunch of platitudes out there and saying all kids can learn. Well, that's great, but like tell me how. You know what I mean? So.
No, I appreciate that. I mean, not the I appreciate that you didn't wake up your family, but I appreciate the authenticity because I really think that it really does shine through. And I think the bonus of that is then it becomes something that's not just for leaders,
Right.
and that also leans into your, anybody lead from anywhere, right?
Right.
It resonates with more than just leaders. And I have always really appreciated that from you.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. What I like is 1 minute walks. You've watched them.
I know. I love them.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Context, I love them. Like they were great.
I appreciate that. I would tell a story, maybe laugh a little bit, and maybe learn something. That's kind of what it goes back to.
Okay, throughout the years you have shared the impact previous educators have made on you. What makes an impactful educator?
Their willingness to lean into you and see you for who you are, not who they think you should be.
I love that.
If they see you for who you are and start there, everybody's better for it, right? Now, we all see things in people that we hope that develop at the same time. Again, it's their journey, not yours. So the most impactful educators that I've ever had believed in me and trusted me to do things that they may not have known how the outcome was going to look. And I think that's awesome. One of the biggest leadership lessons I ever got from an administrative perspective, I was in we were in a board meeting, and it was my first year there in Fall Creek, my first year. And we wanted to start a 4-year-old kindergarten program because one had not been started yet. And we were one of the only groups in the area that hadn't started one yet. So clearly we needed to look at something. And so I came up with all of these ideas that we were going to do, how we were going to, fund it, how we were going to hire, where we were going to go, how many kids we had in a program to start it, and the whole thing. And I get to a board meeting, and I was sitting at the board meeting, and I was, going to go through all of this stuff. And I'm probably about 6 minutes into this presentation. That was probably going to be about 20 minutes or so. And one of the board members just held his hand up. His name is Troy Strasberg. I'll never forget it. He held his hand up and he said, "Hey, Joe, can you pull this off?" I said, "Absolutely." He said, "All right, let's vote." And that was it. That was it. He just asked me if I could pull it off. I said yes, and he trusted, and they all trusted, and here we go. And we got a great program. But at the same time, it was because the board that I was with at the time said, "Go, we trust you. We hired you to do a job, and we trust you. Go do it." And I think that's a really impactful lesson for people.
I love that. It's also really hard, too, as an educator.
Oh, absolutely. Because I think we've got this preconceived notion about what things should look like. And if it doesn't look like the way that we thought it was, then... Right. And also, I think we got to be okay with it not looking the way that we had intended. As long as it is better and is owned by more than one, then you put yourself in a better spot.
Agreed. Or like when we're talking about kids too, we can give them all the tools and the resources and supports we want to, but sometimes we just have to let them go, and it's not going to go the way we think it is, and it might not be perfect or fun. Right. But we have to let them have it their way because that's important.
I agree. Yeah, I 100% agree with that. It's not always fun. It's just not. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Like sometimes it's work. And it's okay. It's okay to work. It's like that whole mentality. I just I've heard this whole thing. Well, we should, schools should be like Disneyland. No, they shouldn't. There's no assignments at Disneyland. Like you're not like it's got to be good. It's got to be good, but it's going to be work too. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. We can still engage people in growing and not have it just be all celebration, all fun all the time. It just can't be that. And the people who are providing that can't sustain that. Like, I think we put our people in a really difficult position if that's the expectation.
And kids see right through it because
Oh
they
my
have an
gosh.
authentic teaching school experience too, you know?
Yeah, totally agree. Totally agree.
Yeah. Well, I think we're ahead of schedule, which is fine. But Joe has answered a lot of questions.
Yeah, right.
I think he's answered more than anybody ever has. So
I think this is a record.
I think this is a record.
How about that?
Yeah. And what a wonderful, thank you again for being here with us. Seriously.
No problem.
Yes.
I had a great time.
Awesome. We're just going to zoom in on Mandi's drawing, and then we'll zoom in on mine, and then.
Oh, wow. That's very cool.
The pizza.
Yeah, you got the pizza. I like the s'more sundae too. That's good stuff. You guys that's awesome.
Oh, I like that, Mandi. Just don't touch the president.
But he hugged us.
We did. That's right. That's
Oh, I see that. But he hugged us.
He hugged us.
He hugged us. He came at us, man. That's not my fault. That's not my fault. But we're probably best friends. I'll probably get invited over to places. I mean, I'm sure we're best friends. He just doesn't realize it. It's okay.
That happens to me sometimes too. They just don't know we're best friends. It's
Right.
I'm sure there's no restraining orders for people like that, Joe.
I love. Look at the beavers. Watch out for Joe. Joe, that's great. Yeah, they don't care. That's where we're at. Like, they don't care. Those stinking things. I'm telling you right now. This is good. Very cool. Very cool. I see the lottery ticket in there too. That's neat.
Yep. You got your
Yeah.
strap.
I love it. I love it. Very cool stuff. You guys are really talented, like extraordinarily talented.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And thank you so much for being with us today. It was just a joy.
Yeah, I had a great time. I appreciate the opportunity, and again, I love what you do, and I love the way that you capture concepts and conversations, and it's an exceptional talent. You both should be very, very proud of yourselves. It's exceptional talent. So, and I think if the more people, however people learn, whatever it looks like, is really important. But the way that you put it out there is very, very well done. So congratulations to you. And it was an honor to be with you, honestly. So you let me know if you need anything, if anybody who watches this needs anything or anything that I can do. I don't have a job, so I mean, I can help people, whatever you need. We can go ahead, so we can help out anybody that needs it. And I'm just going to have a great time continuing to help as many leaders and as many schools as we possibly can, because it's an incredible profession if we're willing to lean into each other and just take care of each other along the way.
Awesome. Well, friends, if you were here with us and you drew with us, be sure to snap a picture of your Doodle and Chat and share it out on your favorite social media platform, #Doodle and Chat. And then we will see everybody back here because next week is February, right?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So we'll see everybody back here. I know already. We'll see everybody back here at 9:33ish for our February Doodle and Chat Classy next Saturday. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.